Now, when you come into the understanding that God lives in me, that the creator of heaven and earth lives in me, then that should create a certain reverence in your lifestyle. It should create a certain reverence. Now, I'm not going to go certain places because I understand that God lives in me. And I'm not going to go into this place because I don't want to take God into this place. I'm not going to have certain conversations because I understand that God lives in me. And since I understand that he lives in me, I don't want to allow certain things. You have to live your life like this. If God in Christ Jesus was physically standing right there next side to you, would you say what you just said? Right. Would you go where you just went? Would you do what you just did? If Jesus was manifested right there on the next, see, you don't realize it, but he is there. He's on the inside. He's closer than right next to you. He's in you.
Yeah.
And so wherever you go, you take him. Whatever you do, you make him a part of it. Whatever you say, you make him a part of it. So we have to have a reverence for God. I love him too much to take him there.
That's right.
I love him too much to make him a part of that. Yeah, there's a part of me that want to do it, but I love it. I love him too much. I won't make him a part of that. I have too much respect for him. I have too much reverence for him to say that. I have too much reverence for him to do that. And so when we live with a reverence for God, the presence of God, live with a reverence for God, then it changes the way we live. It changes the way we live when we live with a reverence that he is with me. Let me take you to another place of scripture. Go to 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter. We're almost done. 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter. We talk about things that cause the prodigal son to stumble. First Corinthians, the 15th chapter. Go down to verse number 33. Verse number 33. What the Bible says. Just one scripture I'm going to pull out of here. It says, be not deceived. Evil communication corrupts good manners. Let me read that from the Amplified. Do not be so deceived and misled. Evil companionship, communion, associations corrupt and deprave good manners and morals and character. When the Bible talks about the prodigal son, talks about once he got pulled out there into the world, the Bible says he began to live riotously. Riotously means he began to live a lascivious life. He began to do things that normally he would not do if he was in his father's house. And so things that he used to would not do because of the presence of his father, he started doing those things. Let me tell you something about distance. Distance will get you in trouble. Distance will get you in trouble. The farther you separate yourself from your father, the less likely you're going to behave like your father.
Yes.
Let me say it to you like this. Most of us are parents. The farther your children get away from you, the more they're going to show out. The more they're going to show out.
Yes, sir.
Because distance brings about a change. See, a child is more likely to behave when they know their parent is near. They know that mama and daddy is close around. So they're not going to cut loose. They're not going to get too crazy because they know that mama and daddy is. Matter of fact, the closer you are to that child, the better they're going to behave. But as you get away from that child, that distance is going to embolden whatever it is that's in that child. Anything that's in that child that's brought under control when you're there, when you're not there, is going to be emboldened in that child. That's why the Bible teaches us that as the people of God, we got to stay close to him.
Yes.
He says, if my word abide in you, if you abide in my word, he said, then you shall ask and it shall be granted. Why? Because there's a power in being close
Amen.
If I learn how to stay close to him, then what the devil wants to do to me, he cannot do to me, because I keep myself in the vicinity of my Savior. Yes. Bible says, they that abide in the secret place shall abide in the shadow of the Almighty. If I learn how to stay close to him, there's a protection. But when I get away from him, now the enemy is able to come in and bring trouble in that distance.
Amen.
Okay, let me get it to you another way. He says here, don't be misled or deceived. Good morals, good behavior is corrupted by bad connections. So he says, I don't care how good the child is, and we're talking about Christians. We're not just talking about children, so to speak, raising children. We're talking about being a child of God. The Bible teaches us that, yeah, you have the Spirit of God in you, but when you distance yourself from God, when the prodigal son left the presence of his father, there were things that he began to do that he normally would not have done when he was around his father. Why? Because there was a distance, out of sight, out of mind. There was a distance as he got away from the Father. As you stop coming to church, as you stop reading your Bible, as you stop making time to pray, as you stop devoting yourself to the things of God, you get farther and farther into the world. But the problem with that is that sometimes you get so far gone, you can't find the way back.
Jesus.
The Bible says that the prodigal son joined himself to people that were not like the people he used to be with. The Bible says there were people of that country, meaning they were non-Jewish people. They were people who didn't have the same belief systems that he had. They were people who didn't believe in the same God that he believed in. There were people who didn't have the same foundations that he had. So you have to be careful. When you are able to be in the presence of ungodly people, and it doesn't bother you, and you can laugh and giggle, and everything is he and ha, and you're in the midst of people that's living wrong and corrupt and defiling the word of God, and yet it does not bother you, you are living too far away.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you're right.
I know it's a hard preaching, but when you're able to find peace in the midst of wickedness, you are too far removed.
Yeah, it's done wrong.
You are too far. You are strayed too far. I'm not saying you can't have them and know them, but what I'm saying is they should bother you. Your actions, your behavior. It should bother you when they start cussing and cutting up.
All right.
It should be offensive to your ear. It should cut your ear.
Yeah.
When they start saying and speaking and talking crazy. It should ruffle your feathers. But if you're able to sit there and be comfortable in the midst of wickedness, it's because you're too far from your Father. The Bible says this about the prodigal son. The Bible says that he spent all of his substance. And that's what it said. What verse is that? He says, not just his money, but he spent his substance. Not just money. And I'm gonna talk on that because that's very important. Because there are some things that you have that is not money. Verse 14, read it.
And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in the land, and he began to be in want.
When you, listen to this. First of all, let me say this to you. There's some stuff that you have that's not money. You can't spend it like money, but it's worth more than money. You can't buy anything with it, but it's more valuable than money. The Bible says that the prodigal son spent everything that he had. When he talks about everything, it's not just talking about his money. It's talking about that quality, that integrity that we have. That you can't go into the store and buy anything with it. But when you go into the store, it causes you to act and behave a certain way.
Yeah.
It's the kind of stuff that when you go into the store, you don't take nothing that's not yours because you have a certain integrity and a certain way you deal and carry yourself. It's not something you can translate into money, but it's more valuable than money. The Bible says that when this young man got in trouble and all of his money was gone, he says not only did he lose his money, he lost his integrity too. The Bible says that this Jewish boy who was connected to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the Bible says that this Jewish man went to feed the pigs. Normally, a Jewish man would never touch a pig.
That's true.
Because the pig was a defiled and unclean animal. But when life had beat him down and robbed him and took everything and all of the so-called people that were there for him were gone. Because that's just how some people are. They're there as long as there's something there. But when they left him, he had nothing, not even his integrity. And the Bible says he went down to the pigs.
Yeah.
You have to be careful because certain associations will cause you to behave in a way that's beneath even your own standard.
No character.
And when you get round them, you act like this.
Yeah.
You talk like this.
Yeah.
You think like this. Matter of fact, there have been times when you have left and walked away from them and got by yourself and said, well, man, why did I do that?
Yep.
Why did I let them talk to me? Why did I go? Well, I knew I should have. I knew better than that. I knew. But when I got round them, the Bible says, good morals, good hearts, good minds. When they get around the wrong people, they get weak. That's why the Bible says you have to stay close.
Yes, sir.
That's why the Bible says you need to stay joined to him because he understands the farther you get away from me, the weaker you become.
Yes, sir.
And you will get to a place where you will start doing stuff that you will shake your. Have you ever done something and then thought about what you did and shake your own head?
Yes.
I can be honest. I've been
Shook
there.
my head.
I should have did that. I should have said.
Yes. Yes.
I know as a pastor, I should have handled that situation differently. I should have said that. I let them pull me out there like, well, I went too far. I went too far. Out there feeding the homeless, out there doing the Lord's work, and certain things happening. Man, this man done made me mad. Now I'm in my flesh. Lord have mercy. I'm out here trying to feed the homeless, and I ain't acting like no pastor right now. God, Lord forgive me. Lord forgive me. I shouldn't have said that. Yeah, I'm trying to get you to understand why the prodigal son got into the troubles that he got into. The devil is strategic in what he does. He knows how to send the right person at the right time to get you in your flesh. He knows how to send you the right telephone call at the right time to get you off track. He knows exactly what to do. He knows what bait to use. He knows who to send your way, how to send them your way to get you off track. He knows he's a skilled enemy. He knows what he's doing. You have to have, the Bible says, to have your eyes open, to be alert, because your adversary, the devil, he walks around as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. The Bible says, Corey, you got to open your eyes. You can't walk through life sleep. You can't walk through life thinking everything is good and peace. He said, you got to open your eyes because your adversary is after you.
Yes. Amen. Amen. He always bait the trap.
Would love nothing more than to destroy you. Open your eyes and see that this is a battle and that your enemy desires to destroy you. You have to understand that the reverence of God, number one, has to be always protected. That no matter what I go through in life, I will stay there. I will keep my reverence for God. I will keep my reverence for God. I will keep my reverence for God and his word. These are the things that are going to keep me out of trouble. I'm going to keep my reverence for God. I'm not going to allow how I look at God or how I feel about God to be tainted by anything. I'm going to love God. I'm going to keep my reverence. Even in the bad times of my life, I'm going to celebrate my God. I'm going to worship my God. You have to be careful, number two, who you connect yourself to.
Yeah,
you have to be very careful, because the Bible says even a good man, even somebody with a good heart, with a good mind, and want to go far in life, the Bible says if they connect themselves to the wrong people, then all of that goodness in them is corrupted by their connection. This is what the Bible says. This asks a question, brother. It says, can a man hold fire to his chest and not be burned?
That's right.
That's what the Bible says.
Cannot be seen.
Cannot be singed, cannot be burned. Can you hold fire? Can you take fire to your chest and that fire not burn you? It's impossible.
Ain't no way not.
So the Bible says you're not going to be able to walk with evil and not be affected. The same way that fire on your chest is going to leave a mark. Fellowshipping with evil is going to leave a mark.
Yes, it will.
Same way.
Yes, it will.
You cannot do them and not be changed by
It's
them.
going to have an effect.
And so the Bible says you have to be careful of the connection. The prodigal son left his father. He got too far away. He joined himself to people that was not did not have the same belief system. The Bible said it was of that country. In other words, they didn't believe in God. They didn't believe in the God of Abraham. They didn't have the same principles of truth that kept it. See, it was the principles of truth that would have kept him out of the pig slide, the pig pen. The truth, the truth. See, the word of God does not come to deny me life. It comes to protect me.
That's what it is here.
The word comes to protect me. You think the word is going to hold you back and, oh, I can't do, no, the word comes to protect you. As an adult, I can look back and realize that all of the rules that I had as a child were for my good.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
As a child, I didn't understand that. They was mean, hard, don't want me to have no fun. But now, as a man, I can look back and say, the fact that I had to come home at a certain time might have saved my life more than one time.
Amen.
So those rules, though they were hard then, I realized they were for my good.
That's right.
They were for my good.
Yes.
I didn't like them then, but I realized they were for my
Amen.
good. The word of God
God.
is the same way. It's the same way. Why? Because God has laid out his word. And he says, I want you to walk in my word.
Oh, yes.
And sometimes we look at what other people are doing and we think we're missing out on something, but the word of God is designed for my good. There are so many things that we could have saved, so much trouble we could have saved ourselves from if we would have just listened to the word of God. If we would have just obeyed the word of God. If we would have just submitted to what God said instead of trying to do it our way, make our own way, or go with what we thought of what. If we would have just submitted ourselves to the word of God and left it alone, we'd have been so much better. But we had to do it our way. There's a way that seemeth right unto man, the Bible says. But the end thereof is death. It looked good, but it tried to kill me. It sounded good, but it almost killed me.
All right now.
It messed my whole situation up.
Yes.
So we have to learn how to stay in the parameters, because they're designed to take us to an appointed place to fulfill our appointed purpose. Fulfilling your purpose is not automatic. It's something that you have to do. It requires your commitment. It requires your obedience. God will never change his mind about his purpose for you. God will never change his mind about his will for you. He'll never change his mind about where he wants to take you. But whether or not you get there is up to you.
Yes.
You have to submit yourself. But the beautiful thing about God, and I'm closing, the beautiful thing about the Father is that the Father was always waiting for the child.
Yes.
Amen.
You're right.
God never changed his mind. The Father never changed his mind about his son. Even in his absence, he was still my son.
Waiting there with it on.
I gave y'all that illustration before. I give it to you again. You can take money and you can ball it up You can put it on the ground and step on it and walk on it. And